My penis was oscillating between extremely sensitive and borderline traumatized.
This one's wife. Dumped by this one's wife. Narcissists use people. That may not come as a surprise for many of you, but for certain people, they still fail to grasp that the narcissist simply utilizes you as an appliance. You are toasters, washing machines, television sets to us. Your role is to attend to our requirements and needs vis-à-vis the prime aims. For years, I have been explaining through my blog and videos that we regard you as toasters. It is such an apt and powerful analogy that, understandably so, it's been copied by Dr. Plagiarizer. If you're listening, Dr. Plagiarizer, try and have some original thoughts. Oh, I realise you can't. You always have to copy. You're seen as a toaster because you're expected, just like a toaster, to toast the bread and do no more. That when the bread is inserted into you and the button is pressed, you toast that bread to the requisite level, no more, no less. If you fail to do so, you're an unreliable appliance. A toaster doesn't have thoughts of its own. A toaster isn't something that is viewed as being independent, having its own life. We regard other individuals as like that toaster, that you don't have your own life, your own thoughts, your own hopes, your own fears. They're all ancillary, secondary to the needs of the narcissist. The fact is that with regard to individuals, you are seen as appliances, and this one's wife is no different. Harry is an appliance that is to be controlled, to have fuel extracted from him, to be utilised for his character traits and residual benefits. The same with her father, the same with King Charles, the same with the lady that brought her morning coffee, the same with the member of staff that looks after her children, the same with regard to her mother, with regard to her half-sister, a half-brother. Any human being that this one wife interacts with is simply an appliance which is there to further the empire of this one's wife. And this approach is often seen with regard to the way that the narcissist deals with friends. Friends in the fuel hierarchy are known as non-intimate secondary sources. They are of moderate importance with regard to the provision of fuel. They are generally fairly easy to control. They are often important to mid-range narcissists because they form part of the facade which the narcissist relies on by way of a residual benefit. Certain narcissists acquire friends very easily and then get rid of them easily, cycling them repeatedly. Other narcissists have a steady coterie of friends that might shift here or there, but largely remain constant throughout time. The extent to which the narcissist calls upon those members of that friendship group can vary. Some might be dealt with every single day, others maybe once a year. Nevertheless, they're all treated in the same way, utilised for what they can provide for the narcissist. It is often an indicator that a narcissist is at work if you look at the way that they deal with their friends, the way that the friend is always the one who gets in contact, the way that the narcissist only ever gets in contact when they need something, the way that the friend is kept out of the way until they prove to be useful to the narcissist. And in some instances, you can see a pattern of behaviours whereby groups of friends are routinely dropped and replaced with new ones that are seen as, in effect, better. That happens where you have a narcissist that moves through different strata in relation to friendship groups. So they might start out with a group of friends that they met at school who were fairly similar to them, and then the narcissist gets lucky, perhaps marrying someone that affords them fame and wealth, and therefore they move into a different friendship group. The school friends are forgotten about, they're disengaged from, they serve no further purpose. It might be that the narcissist has advanced themselves with regard to the people that they work with. And therefore, the people that they work with become their friends because they're more accessible and they are seen subconsciously as providing better benefits for the narcissist, resulting in the narcissist thereafter bothering more with the colleagues as friends rather than the school friends. And thus it goes on. The narcissist draws in a friend, and if they don't prove to be any use, for instance, they become an outmoded toaster, they're shipped out and the new trendier toaster comes in. There are different patterns and dynamics, but you will see similar behaviours with regard to the way that the narcissist uses these friends, either using and throwing to one side, or using and using and using and using again. This one's wife has engaged in a pattern of behaviour whereby she will have certain friends, non-intimate secondary sources, and then she casts them to one side and disengages from them because they are no longer of any use to her, and she believes that she's found more effective, more useful friends. In effect, she has got rid of those ineffective and unreliable toasters and has replaced them with more reliable and more multifunctional toasters. Lydia Hawkin, writing for the Daily Mail, has pulled together many examples of the way that this one's wife's dynamic functions. And of course, you, having access to my work about narcissism, fully understand why it is that she loses these friends. In some instances, they become fed up at the way that they are treated. In other instances, it's quite simply that they're disengaged from, and this one's wife wants nothing more to do with them, making it so they can't get in contact with her, or if they are able to do so, she never responds. Lydia Hawkin writes, in the past 8 years, this one's wife's life has changed beyond recognition, and her slimmed-down friendship circle undeniably reflects that. When she first started dating Prince Harry in 2016, the Suits actress, who was living in Toronto at the time, counted Jessica Mulrooney among her best friends, and even included the stylist's 3 children in her wedding party. Now, you would have thought to yourself that if someone was so important to you that their children would be in your wedding party, you'd still be friends with them. But not with the narcissist. Despite Jess reportedly playing an influential role in Megxit, this one's wife distanced herself from the mother of 3 after she became embroiled in a race row in the wake of the Black Lives Matter movement in 2020, i.e., her usefulness to this one's wife was no longer that good, and therefore she pushed her to one side. However, Jessica isn't the first friend of this one's wife who has been dumped, or markled, as critics label it, in such a way. For instance, the article explains about Cory Vitiello and the Mulrooneys. Before meeting Prince Harry, this one's wife dated chef Cory Vitiello for 2 years until their split in May 2016. The couple are believed to have broken up just weeks before this one's wife met Prince Harry, although, as I've pointed out in parts past him, there is evidence that shows that she was still with Cory Vitiello when she started dating Harry. Calling him her very favourite chef, she wrote about him in his restaurant, commenting, and maybe that's part of it, the small-town charm and moral compass of someone who doesn't come from the big city, but dreams big thoughts and makes them happen. That makes his food so approachable yet inspired. Cory and this one's wife met when she dined with Suits cast members at the Harvard Room, the trendy Toronto restaurant he then owned. They quickly fell in love, and according to his mother Joanne, he began staying at this one's wife's rented townhouse near the restaurant. The chef's mother describes them as homebodies, who avoided attending public events if possible, and did their best to keep the romance private. In April 2018, a source told the Daily Mail that Cory began to tire of this one's wife's alleged prima donna-like behaviour, i.e. her self-entitled, self-absorbed narcissism. When they went out for the evening or travelled together, she would allegedly embarrass Cory by announcing she starred in the US television series Suits. Grandiosity, boasting, and asking for the best table and seats, inflated sense of status. The final straw came at a dinner party for friends, it's rumoured. When their guests praised the inventive main course of pasta interwoven with courgette spirals, this one's wife claimed she had dreamed up the recipe, a character trait acquisition, plagiarism, when in truth Cory had created the dish. This one's wife's estranged best friend Jessica Mulrooney and her husband Ben are among Cory's 15,000 Instagram followers, along with this one's wife's former co-stars Sarah Rafferty and Patrick J. Adams. Cory also follows Jessica and Ben Mulrooney, suggesting that he still has a friendly relationship with them. Just weeks before her first date with her future husband, this one's wife crossed paths with an individual with a very strong royal connection. Violet von Westenholz is the daughter of former Olympic skier Baron Piers von Westenholz, who is a close personal friend of King Charles. Her mother, Jane von Westenholz, is a long-time friend of the Queen Consort and was involved in the renovation of Dumfries House, a Scottish stately home saved by Charles in 2007. In her role as press relations director for Ralph Lauren, she organised a publicity day for the brand at Wimbledon tennis tournament, which this one's wife attended. Following the event, the actress uploaded a photo on her Instagram with the PR director and other guests. Expressing her gratitude, this one's wife captioned the post, "How much more could I adore this gem? Thank you, Violet von Westenholz." Violet has been friends with Prince Harry since they were both teenagers and regularly joined the royal family on skiing trips abroad. Although Violet was rumoured to be the matchmaker who set Harry and this one's wife up, she's refused to confirm it either way. What's more, Violet appears to be friendly with Millie McIntosh, who was famously ghosted by this one's wife before her wedding to Prince Harry. Disengagement or placing her on the shelf. When this one's wife first started putting down roots in the UK in 2016, the former Made in Chelsea star was said to be one of the Duchess's best friends. Miss McIntosh is said to have met this one's wife shortly before the actress began dating Harry in July 2016. In September 2016, the duo took a trip to Private Members Club Soho farmhouse in Oxfordshire. After riding around the grounds of the estate, this one's wife and Millie both posted the same picture of them on bikes. In February 2018, a royal insider told the Daily Mail that the reality star had been helping this one's wife organise the wedding, and was even predicting she might be chosen as bridesmaid. However, the star did not end up even being given an invite. Last May, Millie revealed that she felt snubbed by this one's wife, and described her last message from the Duchess as being abrupt. Speaking on a podcast, she revealed she became pals with this one's wife after they met at a hotel event in Turkey, and even gave her all of her contacts, residual benefit, when she moved to London. Millie added that she and this one's wife met up in the capital, and she shared her favourite hotspots. But things changed when rumours swirled that she and Harry were dating. She added that she sent this one's wife a message offering her well wishes, but was surprised to receive an abrupt response. She ends up being dropped, and again is of no longer any use to this one's wife, resulting in that unpleasant treatment and the abrupt message. Before this one's wife met Prince Harry, Priyanka Chopra was one of her closest friends. They became friends after bonding at an Elle Women in Television event in January 2016. This one's wife said, "You know when you meet someone and you just click. It was an easy, natural progression. We've managed to keep in touch via email and text, hoovering, and try to see each other whenever we're both in the same town." However, in February 2019, it was reported that Priyanka was crushed when this one's wife did not attend her wedding to Nick Jonas the year before. Another snub, demonstrating the absence of emotional empathy by this one's wife in relation to no longer bothering with someone that she was, once upon a time, very close friends with. Demonstrating once again the way that this one's wife draws people in, uses them, and then dumps them to one side. It's clear that there are many individuals of this nature. For instance, she was once close with Patrick J. Adams, one of her co-stars from Suits. He's explained there's zero communication between them now. At the time, she spoke favourably of him, but he serves no further purpose, and therefore has found himself as a non-intimate secondary source disengaged from. Gina Torres, also from Suits, has explained that she has no phone number for contacting this one's wife. Yet, previously this one's wife had waxed on about her wonderful co-stars, so wonderful that we're invited to her wedding And yet she now has nothing to do with them, because of course she has no emotional empathy for these individuals. She has no genuine friends. She has no sense of accountability. She has nothing to do with Sarah Rafferty, another of her co-stars. As I explained earlier, she is estranged from Jessica Mulrooney. Cory Vitiello, who she had was an intimate partner primary source, became a former intimate partner primary source. Priyanka Chopra and Millie McIntosh, similarly, have been put to one side. And this is demonstrative of the using nature of this one's wife. That she simply cares about herself. That all she's bothered about is subconsciously being able to control people, which she will do with her whole mid-range shtick of where BFFs and love you and hoovering people with stupid messages which meant to be sent by somebody who's in the 40s, probably written like teenager. That she lays on the compliments and the slaver, inveigling her way into the relationship with these individuals. And then, of course, once they serve no further purpose to her, as she believes herself to be better than them because she married a prince, although, of course, we all know that she's got no talent, got no charisma, she's got no magnetism, she's only known because she married a prince, she then jettisons these individuals. Usually, non-intimate secondary sources are placed on the shelf. They're picked up and put down. But with this one's wife, she frequently disengages from people who are those secondary sources because her narcissism deems they're of no use whatsoever. They could, of course, get hoovered at some future point, but they attempt to contact her and find that they cannot because she has cut off any means of them getting in touch with her because her narcissism simply dictates that they're of no use to her. And thus, like the kettle that no longer works or the toaster that has gone on the blink, they've been cast to one side and dumped by this one's wife. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.